Early signs indicate these teams are maybe a little more healthy than they have been of late. That's always good news. Should be the full contingency of those expected to play involved in this one tonight as we are underway. First possession going to belong to the visiting Jackets. Trying to power it down underneath. No time left with which to shoot. The horn sounds.
Offense that likes to do a lot of ball screens here, but so far we are seeing Virginia being a little bit of control here.
Games in a row, we showed you 20-plus. Lattimore, who's been the headliner of late, but the first bucket belongs to Georgia Tech from the perimeter. And the history of the program recently secured to help lead the way for Georgia Tech. What a feed, what a cut, what a finish for UVA.
Think about the Cavaliers, you think about getting in the paint, finishing at the rim. He has some long arms. He's only 5'9", but just her ability to stay in between. But Kymora Johnson found a wraparound.
And after Clark had the first Virginia basket, this ends up in her hands. Looks out front, and it's laid home. Virginia's first lead. Spoke with us this week, Lauren, about how critical that bounce back against Clemson was. This is a team that started unbeaten. They were unscathed through the majority of the 2024 portion of the schedule.
In the paint with their 6'6" post player, an easy high-low there.
Someone at Georgia Tech received the kind of early season honors that she had put together in the debut campaign.
Yeah, she had a season high this year against Syracuse, 6 made threes. She finished with 28 points in that game. I mean, she just puts on a show.
Over 6,000 on the flats. That's a grand for everyone that stayed home. Each of those 6 players from the state of Georgia that she talked about being important to the continued building of this program. 3 apiece having gone down for these 2 squads. Boy, what defense there. And a steam for Morgan. You have to give such attention to Morgan, Lauren. Then she kicks, and the rest is history. Yeah, top of the key, and here's a wide open look from downtown. Raised freshly into the game, chased that, but couldn't corral it. Senior out of Orlando in the contest. And in the score sheet now for Georgia Tech, having pushed out front at 14-6. Nice kick here, but it rims out.
And that's what Georgia Tech wants to do. They want to get the ball out of Kymora Johnson's hands. Georgia Tech is ranked. This is an opportunity to get a ranked win, right? We talk about the committee. We talk about the NCAA tournament coming up and scoring in the paint. Since then, they've gone away from that. And they were able to score 18-2 against Virginia the rest of the quarter.
Yeah, look at that run after a 4-3 moment in which she hit the pause button, called the troops over. Think about how many different individuals have been involved for Georgia Tech already as well. 5 different scores, and the Jackets just keep on scoring.
Coach Fortner told us that her depth is different this year. The biggest difference between her squad last year and this year is the ability to score from the bench. And we see Lattimore able to knock 2 in.
And surprisingly enough, for Lattimore, who had been the headliner in recent days for UVA, first points of the contest it takes into the second quarter.
They're shooting from long shots first and then trying to get into the paint where the paint's just clogged.
And why is it noteworthy that we talk about Kymora Johnson looking for a first impact scoring-wise? Well, she averages right at 20 per contest, as you saw. Coming at just over 6 to play in the second.
All right, and looking at that schedule, just a reminder why you have to show up every single night.
Lattimore. Push Virginia to 10 on the scoreboard. Here's a takeaway. This is what the Cavaliers need. Beginning to string possessions together.
There it is. Running hard. There's no one in front of her that is going to stop her. She feels the body come into the lane, and she keeps her eyes up.
The old adage to work it towards single digits at some point, right?
Yeah, 1 possession at a time. 1 defensive possession and 1 good look at the basket. That's all you can count on each time down the court. That mid-range shot that is just unstoppable.
Well, the finish wasn't there, but Morgan showed you also her ability to distribute. And perhaps this is the jumpstart moment for Kymora Johnson.
What she is known to doing, getting past defenders on that first dribble.
Virginia with now Georgia Tech's total trimmed in half, and once it starts, sometimes the floodgates open. Keep in mind, this at one point, 28-8. Virginia now with a stop and a basket, as I mentioned, in position to turn this down to single digits.
Such a good job of setting hard screens, and you don't know if they're either going to use it or do a misdirection, and that time they used it and pulled up for the mid-range.
Guerrero, the latest of the individuals to make a mark, another of those international players from Spain making her presence known. Here's another deep look. Now Virginia in a bit of a drought of up over 2 minutes after that spark. It'll end here. What a move. It's that time of year in many ways, Lauren. All kind of sports activities and all of it available to you on the ACC network. How about this?
Bucket for Clark, doing what Virginia needs. Aggressive looks at the basket.
And hear the life in the building with the lead cut to 10, but it's only momentarily. She enjoyed 2025 since the calendar turned over to the new year, playing her best basketball. And she was clear about it.
They're constantly moving offensively, looking for the next woman up, the next woman that's open, and they're able to take it, they're able to knock down mid-range shots.
With shots like this.
Back to back, just being aggressive, keeping her head on a swivel.
As close as they've been, looking for that single digit. Boy, this is the second time in recent moments Clark has gone down to the deck. She saves possession. And guess who finishes? To shoot for Georgia Tech. To go alongside it. Foul called on Wright, just the first whistled against her. The departure.
We've talked about Kymora Johnson being the spark, and I think it's good to note that she's not just the spark for herself, but she's a spark for the entire team.
And coverage beginning at 4 Eastern in that one. Now there's her battling underneath herself, and she'll provide the finish. Going to go to the line for more.
They ran this play back-to-back. The first time it was Olivia McGee, and now it is Brianna Hurd taking on 2. Another offensive rebound for the Yellow Jackets.
Single digits on the shot clock now, and a little opening inside the lane that was just enough.
Yeah, she's been out a few games here since that Virginia Tech fall that she took, and she was holding her hamstring. 3 of 6 from the field.
Wide open look from the corner.
Good hands for Kymora Johnson. Don't want the Yellow Jackets to go into fourth with momentum.
With just a few seconds to play, trademark Morgan down the left side.
We talked about her ACC Rookie of the Weeks. She's at a season high of 28 points and on her way to continuing that. But we see Brianna Hurd on the other end answering with a potential 3-point play. She has a jump stop, which is always smart when you have some fouls there, Jason.
Had that major celebration in the return to victory against Clemson on Sunday. Nice to know young players can still come in and contribute right away, and that's true on both of these squads. Of course, you know the history for Virginia, the tournament runs of days gone by. And
15 points for Kymora Johnson with a scoop layup going to the middle. Now pound and defend.
She has scored just about every way imaginable, but this has been a familiar refrain. Georgia Tech with a response. This time it's Blackshear. Well, the ACC, nothing but net crew tonight at 10 Eastern. Going to break down everything that's happened around the Atlantic Coast Conference. Analysis of every women's game. They'll look ahead to the best matchups coming up on the schedule as well. No doubt you'll see Some highlights from this one, and they keep on coming as these teams trade baskets in the fourth.
Just saw Kymora Johnson make that same layup back-to-back.
Morgan on the other end getting the job done. She's on the doorstep of double digits. And
on fire for Virginia. Getting anything she wants going downhill. Layup, going strong, and then Dani Carnegie says, wait, I got the 3 ball in my bag. And I don't know if anybody was watching the game earlier, but if you were, you heard me say at some point they may have to face guard Dani Carnegie. She had 4 threes in the first quarter.
With 5.5 to go.
Yeah, this quarter, Carnegie had 7. She wants to add to it.
Right, another from outside. Look who muscles down the rebound. Latimore comes away with it. Within a few possessions of a ranked Georgia Tech squad with 3.5 to play.
And that just shows you that this is a freshman that's coming in, getting in the gym, taking her shots, and is able to capitalize in big moments.
Shooting window, and shooting exactly what Carnegie has done all night long. These two teams separated by 6. You can make it 9. And Georgia Tech will dribble it out. A strong first period. An immediate response to Coach Fortner's memorable timeout. And a win for Georgia Tech on the road in Charlottesville.